Hello comrades, you're watching RedIvanAirsoft, and today we'll talk about uniforms and equipment of the paratrooper of the 7th Airborne Division during the spring of 1995 and the spring of 1996, specifically the capturing of the cement plant near the Chiri-urt village in May of 1995 and the seizure of Bamut in May of 1996. Additionally, in this video we will review the uniforms and equipment of the troopers of the 22nd Spetsnaz GRU Brigade, which directly participated in the capture of Bamut in May of 1996. Why so many periods and units? The fact is that the appearance of the paratrooper of the 7th Airborne Division in spring of 95 did not differ from what it was in spring of 96. Moreover, the appearance of the GRU Spetsnaz trooper was almost indistinguishable from the equipment of the airborne recon troops. The uniform was the same. Paratroopers and GRU Spetsnaz troopers either did not wear patches at all or wore Soviet airborne patch and the Russian flag. The equipment was similar. For instance, both paratroopers and GRU Spetsnaz troopers used the same RD-54 backpack. If it is somewhat possible to distinguish an airborne recon from an assault paratrooper, based on the absence of the body armor and certain amount of special equipment, it is almost impossible to differentiate a GRU Spetsnaz trooper from a recon. Not without a reason, since Soviet times land-based special forces units wore uniforms similar to the airborne troops, and naval special forces units resembled the naval infantry. Only thanks to Slatkov's video, where he explicitly states that at this moment he is filming the 22nd GRU Spetsnaz Brigade in Bamut, can one understand that we are looking at special forces, not regular paratroopers.
Мы погрузились на танк и вместе со спецназом ГРУ отправились в сторону Бамута.
Shooting 3 different videos listing the same equipment seems silly. So we will discuss everything within one video. Just keep in mind that the recon troop will look roughly like a paratrooper, but without body armor and a helmet. However, he will have certain special equipment. And the GRU Spetsnaz trooper will look roughly like a recon, but with more relaxed appearance and a larger amount of special equipment. For instance, one GRU Spetsnaz trooper was even wearing homemade shorts, as if it was not Bamut, but Rodizha. To immerse ourselves in context, we will start with a brief historical reference on the operations, starting with the cement plant. And then we will move on to discuss the uniforms. In May of 1995, the cement plant in the vicinity of the Chiri-urt village was taken by the forces of the 9th Airborne Company and the Recon Company of the 108th Guards Air Assault Regiment. With the diversionary actions of the 245th Regiment in the northeast direction, the enemy's attention was primarily drawn to the north. At night, the units of the 7th Airborne Division, leveraging the diversionary actions of the 245th Motorized Infantry Regiment, unexpectedly attacked and seized the cement plant and the nearby territory without any losses. Bamut. Military operations to eliminate bandit formations in the areas of Goysk, Staraya Chhoy and Orekhovo set the direct preconditions to approach the Bamut. The terrain of the Bamut itself is quite specific. 1/3 of the settlement is situated on a plain, followed by the foothills that transition into mountains. Furthermore, the gorges and hills that loom directly over Bamut provides a tremendous advantage for the defending side against the advancing one. With the nighttime movement using the element of surprise in unfamiliar terrain, 2 units of the 7th and 104th Airborne Divisions advanced and cut off the enemy from the western side by the Ingushetia border. All night the enemy remained on the high alert, and the main task was to exhaust the enemy with attacks from various directions. At 5 in the morning, when the paratroopers had fully secured and insulated the enemy, the offensive was launched from 5 directions on foot, without preparatory artillery bombardment. And now let's move on to the uniforms, and we'll start with headgear. And the main headgear of that time was a standard cap in Barvicha camouflage pattern. By that time, Barvicha had become the primary camo for the airborne troops in Chechnya. But sometimes you still could see officers and soldiers wearing Butan camouflage pattern with standard cap in Butan camo. Another popular type of headgear was Soviet medical bandana, which was mostly popular with scouts and special force units. Now moving on to the uniforms, and of course the primary uniform was Barvicha in airborne cut. For those unfamiliar, the airborne cut differs from the standard army cut by absence of the lower pockets on the jacket, presence of the internal holster for Makarov or Tokarev pistols, and the divided left side pocket on the trousers for AK magazines. Some paratroopers were spotted using Butan camouflage pattern, also in airborne cut, but not always. In this photograph from the cement plant, the paratrooper is wearing Butan trousers in the airborne cut, while the field shirt, not only the standard army one, but is also made of lightweight fabric. These lightweight uniforms were produced from 1992 or 1993. If you want to know more about versions of the Afganka uniforms and learn the difference between standard army and airborne cuts, I recommend watching my video on this topic. Paratroopers also wore camouflage suits, commonly known as KLMK, as well as Gorka suits. It is worth noting that the Gorka suit is less common among the paratroopers than among the special forces. According to Slatkov's video, as early as in 1995 you can spot high-ranking officers wearing Kukla suits, designed for the Ministry of Internal Affairs. Belts, either Soviet belt for enlisted personnel made of canvas coated with brown PVS enamel with a star buckle, were used, or officers' brown leather belts. On majority of the pictures, the 6B4 body armor vests are prevalent, but 6B3 and 6B5 body armor vests can also be seen. Helmets. To my surprise, I did not see many pictures of paratroopers from the 7th Airborne Division wearing SH-68 helmets. Instead, in most photographs, SH-40 and SH-60 helmets are more prevalent. Moreover, they often had the 1965 model Y-shaped chin strap. My friend Igor Sarmin explained to me that these Y-shaped chin straps were installed on SH-40, SH-60 and SH-68 helmets as an improvement. It should be noted that these Y-shaped chin straps were not specifically designed for paratroopers. It is just an attempt to improve the existing helmets in use, taking inspiration from the East German M56 helmet. Load-bearing equipment. Of course, the primary equipment for the paratroopers was the paratroopers combat layout, known as ПВД – боевая выкладка десантника. They also used handcrafted equipment, as seen in this picture of the Spetsnaz trooper from the 22nd GRU Brigade. In one photograph from the cement plant seizure period, there was a Vera M vest in the grey amoeba camouflage pattern, more typical for the MVD troops. Additionally, there was another variation of the load-bearing vest, which is a bulletproof vest with the armor plates removed. Interestingly, there was also an opposite approach, where the body armor plates were worn separately, without an external cover. As Chechen War veteran Ruslan told me when I was preparing the video about naval infantry, the problem was that mounting cells, due to their weight, would quickly wear out and fall to the bottom of the cover. Therefore, as I understand, those who need lightweight load-bearing equipment took only the cover, while those who need armor protection, but without the necessity for the quick magazine access, kept the mounting cells with body armor in them and generally used them with the standard magazine pouch. In true paratrooper fashion, self-crafted chest tricks made from the cut-off pouches of the RD-54 backpack were also used. Using 2 magazine pouches and 2 grenade pouches from RD-54, chest rig was crafted with the help of the rifle slings. On the second fighter from the 22nd GRU Spetsnaz Brigade in this photograph, there is a very interesting and rare chest rig made in the Pridnestrovian Moldavian Republic, also known as Transnistria. And the camouflage pattern it is made in is so-called Transnistrian Butan or Butan PMR camouflage pattern. And here it is necessary to pause and clarify a few things. Firstly, the appearance of this soldier intrigued me so much, so I based my loadout specifically on this photograph. Secondly, items in Transnistrian version of the Butan camouflage are extremely rare, and this chest rig is the rarest item in this camouflage that I ever come across. The thing is that Transnistrian Butan was produced only in Pridnestrovia and Moldavian Republic and only in 1992. However, it has a Soviet basis, a more common pattern, so-called Soviet Butan of 1991 or Pseudo-Butan, also known as the last Soviet Butan. The tricky part is that Ukrainian fighters from UNAUNTSO, who fought on the side of Transnistria, brought sets of the Soviet Butan of 1991 camouflage to Transnistria. As a result, when people look at the photographs, these two very similar patterns get mixed up, causing confusion. Now you see the Transnistrian Butan and the Soviet Butan of 1991 side by side. They look very similar, but the difference between them is significant. They are two entirely different patterns. As I have mentioned, the chest tricks in the Transnistrian Butan camouflage are extremely rare, and unfortunately I could not find one. Thanks to Alexander Kudryashov, I have the pictures of it, which you see on the screen right now. There are a few more photographs of the different variations of this chest trick online, including the version with the black patches on the flaps. However, these pictures are the most exclusive and are of the highest quality. For this, I want to say thank you to Alexander Kudryashov and the actual owner of this chest trick. A special thank you to Alexander Kudryashov I want to say for crafting me a phenomenal replica of this chest trick based on the pictures. But here is the catch. Unfortunately, I couldn't find enough fabric in Transnistrian Butan camouflage in the necessary quantity to make a rig. So I had to use camouflage, which is closest in structure and the color palette to the Transnistrian Butan. That is why for my chest trick I used Soviet Butan of 1991. Once again, to avoid spreading confusion, the Transnistrian Butan and the Soviet Butan of 1991 camouflage are not the same. Both were used in Transnistria. Both are relatively rare, and they look very alike because the Transnistrian Butan was inspired by the Soviet Butan version. But they are, after all, different patterns, and the distinction should be understood. And the rigs were only produced in the Transnistrian Butan pattern, unlike my replica, which is made in Soviet Butan of 1991. Now let's discuss in details the specifics of this chest trick. On the shoulders of the rig there are pads for more comfortable wear. In the bottom of the rig there are two loose hanging straps, but their function remains unknown to me. In the center there are three magazine pouches, each can hold a single AK magazine. On each side there are three more smaller pouches. The bottom one is for grenade, a first aid pocket, or S-mark tourniquet. The farthest pouch serves the same purpose. The top smaller pouch is divided in two sections. According to one theory, it is designed to separately store the grenade fuses. Another theory suggests that it was developed for Makarov pistol magazines. Personally, I store magazines in it. Interestingly, in the far grenade pouch there is a white strap. Its purpose remains unknown to me. The shoulder straps and the waist belt are crafted from AKS-74U rifle slings, or maybe Soviet trouser slings. Backpacks. All paratroopers who used backpacks specifically used RD-54. There are no alternatives here, at least I did not see any. Boots. Troops predominantly used sapagi, Russian jack boots, or the model of 1981 boots, colloquially known as derevashki, which have the same sole as Russian jack boots. Boots known as crocodiles I could not find on any pictures or footage. On some paratroopers you can spot Soviet and post-Soviet sneakers. Other gear. Not only Soviet airborne canteen, but also Soviet general issue canteen were used, which is proved by pictures and videos. Paratroopers also utilized Soviet bandages and Soviet S-mark tourniquets. These were either attached to the buttstock of the rifle or stored in the pouch. Additionally, they carried AE2, a Soviet medical kit. Also, paratroopers used rope and NSP flares, and I would like to focus more on the NSP. In my country it is impossible to find an unused NSP, so might look a bit unattractive, but they will work for the purpose of this video. As you can see, the NSP has a special brackets at the base. In the photo I showed earlier, a GRU fighter removed them and wore the NSP on a carabiner. So I decided to follow this practice too. paratroopers used 6H4 and 6H5 bayonets. In our case, it is an airsoft replica of the 6H4 bayonet. Paratroopers equipped with underbarrel grenade launcher also used a pouch for VOC 25 shells, and these pouches were often transformed into a bandolier. F1 and RGD-5 grenades were used, and in our case it is an airsoft replica of the RGD-5 grenade produced by Tagin. Hey, Tagin, when are you guys planning to bring them back to the US market? I'm tired, I'm waiting. Now let's move to the firearms. I haven't seen pistols on the pictures of paratroopers. Probably it is because the pistol is completely useless during the combat actions. Or maybe they carried them in a holster inside the jacket. Rifles. AKS-74, AKMS, often with PBS-1 suppressor. Machine guns. RPKS-74, PK, PKM. Sniper rifles. Dragunov Sniper Rifle. And for Reconnaissance Company and Special Forces, VSS Vintorez. Grenade launchers. RPG-7D, assorted rocket-propelled anti-tank grenades, RPO Shmel. Now let's see how it all looks together. The first kit will represent the paratrooper of the 7th Airborne Division, and the second kit will represent the trooper of the 22nd Spetsnaz GRU Brigade. Okay, comrades, I hope you like this video. Subscribe to my channel, put like, comment, obligatory. Share this video with your friends. If you want to help channel financially, there are links in the description, and see you soon.